Don't buy clothes, save your money. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time clicking on any of my videos, thank you very much. Please do consider clicking the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also share this video if it helps you. So it's lockdown number 3. It's lockdown. So in March, during the first lockdown, I realized that I was overspending. So I was spending more than I will usually spend, especially on food. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing 10 tips, 10 frugal tips, however you like to call it, 10 hacks on how not to overspend in the lockdown. Tip number 1 is not to panic buy. I'm just gonna put it out there that I didn't panic buy in the first lockdown, but a lot of people definitely did the panic buying, bought the tissue, bought the kitchen towel, stock unnecessarily, bought unnecessary things that they didn't need, so definitely tip number 1 is not to panic buy. Just buy the things that you need. At the end of the day, even though we're in a lockdown, we're still allowed to go shopping for food. I mean, we're not going to starve, are we? So we're still allowed to go shopping for food. Don't panic buy. When you go to the store to buy anything, just buy the things that you need, because if you buy unnecessary things, pick things out of fear or panic, you realize you get home, most of those things you wouldn't use them, they're going to spoil, and then you're going to throw them away, and that's you throwing away money. We've gone through lockdown 1, we've gone through lockdown 2, this is the 3rd one, and we're definitely going to go through it. The tip number 2 is to meal plan. So plan your meals. What I tend to do is plan my meals for the week or for 2 weeks, so that way I'm not having to be in the kitchen all the time. As much as it is a lockdown, I really don't want to spend most of my lockdown in the kitchen cooking all the time. So what I tend to do is to plan my meal for like a whole week or like 2 weeks, and just make sure that I'm set for those 2 weeks, lunch, sometimes dinner as well, and that way I'm set for the 2 weeks or for the week that I've planned, and I don't always have to be in the kitchen. Tip number 3 is to make a shopping list. I mean, number 2 and number 3, they go hand in hand, because when you make your meal plan, you already know what you're going to buy. So you put this in your shopping list, so when you go into the store, you know what you are picking, you know what you're buying. I realize that when I don't make shopping lists and I just go to the store to shop, I end up picking things I just end up picking things randomly, and then when I get home, I'm like, I just came back shopping, why does it feel like there's still nothing at home? So to avoid that, I always make a shopping list either on my phone, or you can even write it down, but it's always best to have it on my phone because my phone is always with me. Right, tip number 4 is if you have a small fridge or freezer, get yourself a bigger one, especially when you meal prep or when you go shopping. You don't want to find yourself going to the store 2 to 3 times in a week because you have a small fridge. In March, I got myself a bigger fridge because at the time I had a small fridge, and I had to keep going into the store even though it was the lockdown, and that queue was ridiculous. I could not be doing that 2 to 3 times a week. So I got myself a bigger freezer where I'm able to store food. Tip number 5 is do not let your cravings win, because when your cravings win, that's when you start to waste a lot of money. You're craving for Nando's, you're craving for the Big Mac, you're craving for this, craving for that. Before you know it, you've spent £40 on Uber Eats or Just Eat, and all of that £40, you consume that in 10 minutes. That's when the regrets will start. So don't let your cravings win. Conquer that craving. you can do it. The tip number 6 is to consider bulk cooking different meals. So because I have a bigger fridge freezer now, what I tend to do is to cook different meals, so I can set like a Saturday to just being in the kitchen and cook different kinds of meals, and I will store them in takeaway plates and put them in my fridge or sometimes freezer, so they can last me for at least the next 2 to 3 weeks sometimes. Tip number 7 is to use up everything, or at least a majority of everything you have in your fridge, freezer, before you go shopping. I mean, I found myself that I still have things in the fridge or in the freezer that I haven't used up, and it's sometimes like a tradition where you go shopping by the end of every week. I've stopped doing that. If my fridge is not empty, I am not going shopping. I will make do of whatever I have left in the fridge or in the freezer, and I would use that up before I go shopping. Tip number 8 is don't waste food. So if you're unable to finish a certain meal that you've cooked, think of other ways that you can revamp it and make it something interesting that you can cook again for maybe tomorrow. Rice, for example, if I cook white rice and there's some leftover, instead of chucking that away, I can convert that into fried rice, or I can just add something else to make it interesting for me to actually feel like eating it again instead of just throwing it in the bin. So don't waste food. Tip number 9, don't shop for clothes. We're all at home, we're all working from home. I mean, the most is you're in your team meetings, and if you need to turn on your camera, they're only seeing, this way up. Don't shop for clothes. A lot of clothing stores are doing like all the 100% off, 50% off, £1 for this, £1 for that. Don't, because those clothes are just going to sit in your wardrobe for, we don't know when this lockdown is going to be lifted yet. We don't, even when it's lifted, the majority of us don't know if we're going to go back into work immediately, or we're going to need to carry on working from home. So what's the point of buying clothes that are just going to sit down looking pretty in your wardrobe? No, don't buy clothes, save your money. So tip number 10 is to put some of your subscription on a pause. Yes, it is a lockdown. We're not going to the gym. The gyms are closed if you go to the gym, or a lot of other things that you pay for monthly. Consider putting them on a pause. What's the point of carrying, that direct debit coming out when you're actually not going to the gym? So put those things on a pause and save yourself some money within the few months that we're in a lockdown. This is the end of this video. I hope some of these tips would be useful to you, and if they are, please do consider liking this video, click on the subscribe button, and also comment below some things that you're doing to help yourself save money, to help yourself not overspend in this lockdown. And until next time, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.